Hey guys, what's up? It's time for Q&A number 4. I guess that's number 4. And I'm starting to feel like maybe we need a jingle. Like something that's different from the normal momming with migraine thing with the swoopies. Maybe it's time for us to have a Q&A jingle that's separate. But the thing is, I don't really know how to make jingles. I've been starting to think a little bit more seriously about doing a jingle for these Q&As, and I keep thinking of the Super Carlin Brothers jingle. If you guys watch the Super Carlin Brothers, comment or something. I love their Harry Potter theories, but unfortunately I have them stuck in my head now, so I really can't think of what this Q&A jingle could possibly sound like. Anyway, Q&A number 4. Let's get started. Okay. Oh god, I love Q&As so much. Okay, what is your hubby's Hogwarts house? This seems really random. If you didn't watch last week's video, I'll put a card up here. But last week I posted that I took the Harry Potter sorting house quiz, which house do you belong in? And Migraine Jen also took it so that we could compare my personality versus Migraine Jen's personality. So this person is asking, what is my hubby's Hogwarts house? My husband is a Gryffindor. He is a total Gryffindor. Textbook Gryffindor. While we're on the topic of husband, there's another wedding question here. What was your wedding dress like? By the way, love you guys so much. Love you too. My wedding dress. I've always pictured myself getting married in a white dress, so I knew it was going to be white. I did end up going ivory, so it wasn't stark white, but it was like just barely off-white. It's a white dress. And I did talk to my husband about wedding dress styles before I actually went wedding dress shopping, because even though, yeah, I'm going to pick out the wedding dress that I want, and his opinion isn't going to be the most important one in the room, I did want to be in a wedding dress that he was going to be excited to see me in, because I'm his bride. And I'm the kind of bride where I truly saw it as our big day, not my big day. I didn't see it as like, I'm the bride, I'm the star of the show. I really did see it as our thing. So I wanted him to have some say, but I also really wanted the dress to be a surprise for him. So I was like, honey, what kinds of dresses are you into? And I have a pretty good sense of his style, but really the only thing that we decided on was that I was not going to get a ball gown. And that wasn't him telling me not to get a ball gown. That was me being like, I'm not really that into ball gowns. I know they're very classic. They're very like Cinderella. They're very princess fairy tale, but that's not really me. That's not really my husband. We didn't really need the whole grand ball gown thing. So we're like, okay, no ball gowns. I ended up getting a ball gown. I definitely ended up getting a ball gown. And I kept it a secret from my husband until I showed up at the wedding in a ball gown. His reaction, not great. His reaction was better than great. His reaction was stellar. He was like borderline crying at the altar because I was the most beautiful bride he'd ever seen, because it was me. And because it was a really pretty dress and I made the right choice. I'd actually love to... Let me go get the dress real fast. We actually got the dress preserved, and I haven't seen it in a while, so if I can get this open, I might actually be able to show it to you today. Like, actually show it to you, not just a picture of me in it. See if this is easy to open. Could have been worse. This dress preservation thing kind of freaks me out because it's sort of like a coffin. It's a little bit coffin-esque. But it is really nice to be able to have my dress and have it displayed so beautifully in a box that's going to keep it nice and it's not going to get extra wrinkled or anything weird. But yeah, a little weird when you see it. I was not expecting this much trouble. Dude, they vacuumed this, I swear. Okay. Tape on myself. Well, here it is. Here's my wedding dress. The torso of it anyway. This is all hand beaded. It has really slight corset lines, and it was a drop waist ball gown. Strapless dress with a sweetheart neckline. Nah, screw it. I'll put a wedding photo here too. I'm not sure if you can see my veil, but my veil is down there too. I really loved my veil, hand-stitched in India, and just absolutely stunning. Beautiful, beautiful dress and veil. I'm gonna put that away later. That was a lot. Just throw those off screen. You guys have no idea what the mess is like right outside the box that you can see. Nobody asked me this in this Q&A, but how do I keep the house so clean with the newborn and with the dog and all my health stuff? I don't, guys. The trick is cropping. Bonus question. Is having a new baby / lack of sleep making your migraines and POTS worse? Yes and no, in that order. So kind of interesting because immediately postpartum, I wasn't having like any migraines. But then the migraines came back. And postpartum, I really haven't been having many problems with my POTS. I'm still getting my tachycardia, but my blood pressure isn't really dropping and I'm not really fainting very much. The tachycardia is making me kind of panic and it's making me anxious. And then the lack of sleep is also making me more impatient and more panicked and just generally more anxious. I guess it's just a higher anxiety situation right now for me. And I get migraines from drops in stress. So there are some people when they're in a really stressful situation, then they'll get a migraine. But for me, the second the stressful situation ends, that's when I get the migraine. So with the baby, if the baby's having a hard time and I get frustrated at all, then I'm more likely to trigger a migraine later. Same with like if I lose sleep, that'll trigger a migraine later. But also POTS, when I get the tachycardia, sometimes that can trigger fight or flight and I get really anxious, and then that can also trigger a migraine. So over the course of the day, if I'm able to stay really calm, typically not really having a lot of problems with POTS, not really having a lot of problems with migraines. But on the days that I'm having tachycardia, like that my POTS is acting up, on those days, migraine-y. So I don't know how much of this is actually just directly from sleep problems or from other stress, but I do feel like all of this is snowballing on each other and they're all kind of interplaying. Frankly, it's kind of a chicken-egg problem in my mind right now. I'm not really sure what's cause, what's effect, what's just in my nature. I mentioned a couple of weeks back that I think that I'm misdiagnosed, that I might have a CSF leak. I'll put a card for that video here if you missed it. But the reason I bring that up is if that solves my migraine problems, then I don't really need to worry that much about any of this. So I've been a little bit lax lately, trying to figure out how to fix things, trying to get back on a preventative postpartum, or trying to figure out my abortives more efficiently, because I have my doctor appointment tomorrow. I'm meeting my neurosurgeon tomorrow, and I'm hoping that after that appointment, they'll be able to give me some answers and I won't have to deal with all of this anymore. And that's why all this has been back burner. I'm just not really paying that close of attention to it. I'm not actually hopeful, but I am holding out hope. Cautiously optimistic about my appointment tomorrow. How did you teach Buddy to cover? I've been working on this with Suki and I can't get it. Cover. Cover is one of Buddy's tasks for POTS. Cover is basically when the dog lays over your lap. You put your legs out straight in front of you and the dog lays over your lap. The weight of the dog on your thighs can help with circulation back up to your heart, which helps with circulation back up to your head. And in my case, when Buddy does that to try to prevent a faint, a lot of the times he can prevent me from actually fainting when he does that. So DPT is called deep pressure therapy, and the command that you give the dog to do that is cover. So this question is asking, how do you teach your dog to cover? I'm not qualified to give dog training advice, but I'm going to right now. This is how I taught Buddy. With Buddy, I sat down like this and called him over, and I had him sit literally right here. I would lure him either with a treat or with just like telling him to come, or a rope or a ball or something, pull him, pull him, pull him, pull him, until his front paws are literally right here next to me. And I would have him sit, and when he was sitting, I would pull on his shoulder blades to keep him forward, because that forced him to sit right here. Once he was seated right here, I would tell him down, and again, I would just kind of lure him down with food, and I would get him down over my legs, literally just lure him to a down. And a lot of times he would do this hover thing where he would keep his elbows up off the ground. Instead of laying all the way down like this, he would kind of be like this, because he didn't want to put his weight on my legs. Like, I'm not sure if it's really the most comfortable thing for him. Or at least maybe it wasn't before he got used to it. So I would tell him all the way, and I just wouldn't reward him until he actually put his weight down on my legs. When the dog starts to feel comfortable in that position, they do kind of settle into it, and at that point I reward even more. And really I just practiced that over and over and over again until eventually I could have him sit and he would lay down pretty quickly when I was luring him. And it's not until that point that you introduce the word cover. You don't want to say the word too soon. You don't want to say the word before the dog actually knows what they're supposed to do. Basically, the second you say the word, you want them to be like, oh, it's because I put my weight on you. That's why she said good cover. You know what I mean? So that's that. And with Buddy, I actually like to do this circuit where I have him break the cover and then come back and get back in the cover, and then break the cover again and come back and get back into it. And I think I did the circuit during the structured play video. I'll put a card here. I'm pretty sure that's the video where I did it. Basically, the circle is I'd have Buddy cover, tell him, good boy, okay, go get the rope. He'd go fetch the rope. When he brings it back, I'd tell him to drop it, have him drop it, and then he gets back in the cover. After he's back in the cover, then I say, oh yay, good boy, and then he gets to go get the rope again, and that's his reward for doing the cover again. Structured play. It's like using toys and using play instead of treats as a reward, and doing it that way for this trick in particular worked well, because with the cover they need to stand up and then lay back down, and sometimes it's hard to get the dog to stand back up after they've laid back down. So that's why I would throw the rope for Buddy. Alright, let's do one last question for today. Is the entire fenced-in area behind your house going to be yours? Looks like Buddy heaven. Yes, the fenced-in area that you guys see behind our house, that is ours. If you've only been here on YouTube, you might not have seen our backyard yet, but basically it's a big dirt patch. Our whole backyard is a dirt patch. I don't think I've showed it on YouTube. If I have, I haven't showed it very much, but it comes up in my stories a lot because Buddy has a little patio out back, and I let him in and out about 15 times a day, so that shows up on stories a lot. You guys know that my husband and I went on that crazy RV road trip through Utah while we were in between houses, and that's because we sold our previous house and our new house was being built. It's very common when you build a new home, a new construction home, that the home will come without the backyard landscaped. So when we bought the house, it came with a landscaped front yard, so the whole neighborhood looks pretty, but the backyard is just dirt. They level it and everything for you, sort of, but it's actually just, yeah, this big mess. So we have to plan out what the heck we're going to do back there. We also have to do what the heck we're going to do back there, and it just takes a really long time. And last year, 2020, the first year that we were actually living here, our first priority was to furnish the inside of the house, make sure the inside was okay. Then I went through a miscarriage, so we stopped everything for a while. Then I was pregnant, so we went for the nursery. Now we're going for the more common areas in the house too. And it's just taken us a really long time to get to the backyard. Also because everyone started redoing their house and their backyard last year during 2020. So it was really hard to even book people to do the yard. So right now the situation that we have out in the backyard is there's the concrete patio that came with the house that Buddy is allowed to go on whenever he wants because he doesn't get muddy. We had some friends who wanted to add a driveway spot to their house, so they took out their sod and we took it and put it out and extended Buddy's little concrete patio. So now he has this little tiny grass area as well for if he wants to pee when he's back there. And also just for laying on and roofs and other things that dogs like to do on grass. And right now, that's all the space that he has in the backyard, unfortunately. But as this person pointed out, it is going to be Buddy heaven, hopefully, when we're able to get the rest of the backyard done. It's going to be really nice. Oh, guys, I can show you. Oh, okay. I'm going to end this with showing you the backyard. Really good to talk to you guys today. If we're being completely honest, I'm having a little bit of a rough day today. So it feels good to talk to you and ironically not feel so alone, even though I'm still sitting here alone in my room. But thank you for joining me for Tuesday Q&A. I'll see you again on Friday. And here's the backyard. We are going. There's our dirt patch. That retaining wall just got built. It goes all the way down the side yard. So that dirt pile is from doing that retaining wall. That literally got finished this morning. Very exciting. And Buddy will have all this space. There's more rocks over there. Yeah, pretty nice, huh? At least it will be pretty nice when we get to it.